Hi everyone, my name is Zach. I am a photographer and videographer, but more important than that, I am a father and a husband. And so recently, my family took a little vacation down to Florida, and while we were there, I knew that I wanted to make a family photo album after we got back home. I was super intentional with taking photos, very intentional about editing my photos, and then very intentional when we got home about making sure that I found a good photo album that we could print out these photos. So I'm gonna go ahead and print out all of my photos today. I'm gonna show you the process for which I pick my photos, print them, and then put them into a photo album. Now, what I love about printing photos, I did a whole nother video that you can go watch, but I think it allows you to be creative in a whole nother realm that you didn't think possible. And so right now, I'm in a very minimalistic sort of style. I really like old film look. And so I tried to kind of edit my photos in such a way that they represented some film sort of aspects. And I picked out a photo album that takes Fujifilm Instax paper, film sheets, contact sheets, that's the word. And I wanted to kind of create like an old school photo album to be able to remember this family vacation. So I've already gone through and picked out what photos from the vacation we're going to print. We had something like, I think, 80 photo options. And this has 40 spots plus another one on the front here. And so I decided, my wife and I, we went through, we looked at all the photos, we decided which ones we felt like were the most important. We put them into an album, so now I'm going to print them and then kind of arrange them into the photo book. So, okay, first things first is I need to turn on my printer. This is the Instax SPS2. I've had this little printer for, I don't know, 7 years, something like that. And it's definitely a little dated, but it still does the trick. All I have to do is connect my Wi-Fi to the printer, open the app, and then we can get started. I also need to load up the film. And so for this photo album, we knew we wanted to pick kind of like this sagey sort of color for the photo album. And I thought that this black film paper would go really, really well with it. So that's what we're gonna use. I think the most annoying and tedious part of this whole process is going to be printing out the photos. Probably could have done this in advance, but that's all right. Just load up that film in there. It's gonna pop out the first little cover paper, and then we can get going. So I'm gonna go to the Instax app, and I'm going to go to select photos, and then vacation prints, and I'm just gonna start printing out all of these vacation prints, and it might take a minute. So while I'm printing these out, I'll talk about why we chose the photos we chose. So while we were on vacation, I was using a Fujifilm X100F to take all of these photos. A few of these photos are from iPhones and then from our big DSLR camera when we did family photos on the beach. But a lot of these are from my little Fujifilm camera. And I love that camera for a bunch of different reasons. It's a fun camera to shoot on, creates some really, really cool photos, fun to edit. You don't have to edit them. Fujifilm actually has some really cool profile picture settings. That's probably not the correct way to say it. That you can use and just kind of send them directly from your camera to your phone, and they look amazing. Kind of has like built-in presets on it already. So that's really cool. I, though, edited most of the photos because I really love the editing process and I love how the edits turn out on the Fujifilm. I also, when editing, I used some presets from a influencer photographer that I follow called Short Stash. I think I used mainly his clean presets, so I'll link those down below so that you can see them and use them if you want. But then when it came to choosing the photos, the biggest thing was I just wanted to make sure that, first off, we were all represented in the photos. This was a family vacation for my wife's side of the family. So it was us, our daughter Amelia, obviously my in-laws, and then my 2 brother-in-laws and soon-to-be sister-in-law, and then also my wife's grandparents. And so we had a lot of people here, and I want to make sure that everyone is shown in this photo album. I want to make sure that, you know, when we're looking back on this in 30 years, we see everyone. And so there's at least, you know, 1 photo or 2 photos of everyone specifically. There's some group photos. There's a lot of photos of Mia. There's a lot of photos of Emma and Mia, a lot of photos of myself and Mia. And so we just kind of went through and decided which photos do we feel like represents everyone? Are we making sure that everyone is represented in this photo album? But then also of that, which ones do we love the most? Which ones are ones that we really feel like kind of represent the trip and that we can look at and see like, oh yeah, like I remember that moment in time. And it kind of paints a picture for these different moments. Okay, so I'm just literally printing them all out. It's going a little faster than I expected. This is the first photo album I'm making in this style with these little Instax films. And I can't lie, it's not a super cheap way to do it. I think the photo album itself was like 25 bucks. Each of these packs are like $10. So I mean, it's $40 in film, another $25 in the photo album, and then the printer. I don't actually know how much the printer is, but I'm sure it's, you know, $100 or so. So this is definitely a little bit of a costly way to do it. There's definitely other ways to do it. But like I said, I really am into this kind of film aesthetic, and I wanted something to kind of show that. So that's kind of why we went with this route, even though it's not the cheapest. So I'm just looking at these photos as they're being printed out. And I'm like remembering all these special little moments that these photos are bringing back, right? Like this photo, Mia was a complete daddy's girl on this trip. And so she wanted to be held by me, in my lap all the time. So there's a lot of photos in this where she's just kind of in my lap. This one that's developing now, I wonder if I can set it here and maybe you can watch it develop. And this next one that I'm about to print were really special ones. She was like not having a good day at all. She just wanted to be held by me and was not really having the best time at family photos. And so we kind of separated ourselves, went and sat on the beach, and my sister-in-law snapped this photo for me with my camera. And it's probably my all-time favorite photo of her and I, because we're just looking out at the sunset and it's beautiful, but like the way her arm is wrapped around me, I just love it. And like I look at this photo and I'm reminded of how much of a daddy's girl she was on this trip, which was extremely tiring at times, but also really, really joyful. And the fact that I know, you know, that's not how she's gonna be forever. It really makes me look at like back on this vacation with happy memories about it. So, okay, so here's some photos from the zoo. So, and some of these photos, like I think the first group of photos I was printing are like the more professional photos done with our DSLR. Now I'm starting to get to some of just the fun ones that I took on my Fujifilm. And they just like capture these little fun moments, like this one of Mia sitting with her grandparents while we were at the zoo, or Emma's mom holding her while she was looking at the giraffes, which she adored. Like they're cool because they capture these little moments, and I look at this glimpse of a photo and I'm reminded of what was happening. It takes me back to that. So I think that's one of the big reasons why I love printing the photos. But yeah. Okay, let's keep going. This photo that I'm printing now, Mia was scared of the giraffe because she got to feed the giraffe and she was scared of the giraffe's tongue. Now the fun part is we actually leave for another vacation here in just like a week and a half with my family to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I'm planning on doing this exact same thing again with my side of the family. I've already when I bought this photo album, I bought another one. I'll have to buy more film, but I'm planning on doing the exact same thing. And I said this in my last video about why you should print your photos, but But I think one thing that's really cool about like knowing that you're going to print your photos, knowing that you're going to put them into a photo album, I think it causes you to be a lot more intentional about taking photos. Because there's definitely times, like there was times on this vacation where I didn't want to take a photo. I didn't want to pull out my camera for one reason or another. I mean, like this photo, my favorite photo, right? Like there was a consideration to not take this photo because it was like, oh, I should just stay in the moment, right? Which is fair, a reason not to. But ultimately I decided, you know what, like I can still be in this moment and have someone take this photo and then be able to have this photo to be able to look back on this moment. I don't think I would have remembered this moment as well today if I didn't have this photo. So I think it does just cause you to be more intentional because you have a plan in place, you have a goal, you know, of doing something with the photos instead of just letting them sit on your phone and get lost. So another thing I should note is that all of these photos we chose ones in vertical format because that's kind of how the book is laid out. The one photo, actually there's two photos that are not in vertical format. The first one is the one that's gonna go on the front, which I already printed well in advance, and is different from the rest. That's okay. But this one that is developing now of Matt and Amelia, I meant to edit it in the app to make it vertical, but it's not, so that's okay. Okay, so they're all finished now. We can put this printer away, and now it's time to pull out the photo album. Okay, so I think there's a lot of different ways that we can go about arranging the photos in the photo album. You can do it by, you know, your favorite to your least. You can do it by the ones that look the most professional, like the family photos on the beach first. I personally am just gonna go chronologically. Okay, so the first photo that's gonna go in there is this photo of the whole family on the beach, and that's just gonna go on the front, right like that. So then we're just gonna go chronological. So there we go. We've got our family photo album. This book is definitely full. It definitely doesn't go flat, but that's okay. Now we'll have this little photo album that we can look back at over the years and just enjoy all the photos and the memories that come with these photos. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I love having my photos printed and then putting them somewhere that we can look at them and, you know, eventually pass these down to Amelia and then to her kids and so on and so on. So if you enjoyed this video, I appreciate if you give it a like, send it to someone, subscribe if you want to see more. And again, if you want to see more about why you should print your photos, I've got a whole nother video talking about that. I plan to do some more videos on these topics, but yeah, we'll catch you guys around. Oh, that camera literally stopped recording because the card was full right as I finished. That's good timing.